What's gold and silver's place in our lives as their events are unfolding and playing out during these perilous times?
Stock up on gold and silver before the virus crisis is over. Have you seen these headlines? Or similar headlines? There's a lot of buzz right now about gold and silver going on, and I've even had a couple of people ask me about it, and so that's why I decided to make a video. So in this video, I'm going to show you what's actually happening in these markets. So I am a gold and silver investor. I have bought and sold gold and silver, and I still occasionally buy and sell gold and silver. But when I see headlines like this, and there's an awful lot of headlines, and especially the kind of headlines that give you the what's called FOMO, or fear of missing out emotion, which is fear and greed, right? It happens with all markets, and gold and silver is no different. And you're starting to see these headlines, like specifically even on the price. Like here's one that says gold is starting its bull run. Gold is just starting its bull run to stupidly higher prices, not just higher prices, but stupidly. Another headline says gold is going to go to 20,000, and I've even seen 100,000 gold price. Now, is there a possibility that that might happen? Well, in markets, there's a saying, markets usually extend a lot further than people think, and they sell off a lot further than people think. So who am I to say, that I'm not putting a cap on anything? I'm just saying that when you start seeing these kind of headlines, it's the kind of thing you also saw back in 2011. You started seeing that gold was going to go to the moon, silver was going to go to the moon, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. The figures start going higher and higher and higher. This time it's different, right? And when you start seeing that, what happened? That was a top in gold and silver for like 9 years. That's a long time to wait if you bought that top. So, but let me show you, these talking heads have been saying in the last 5 to 10 years to, buy a silver spoon and eat some sugar or something, buy silver, buy sugar, and buy rice. But let me show you this chart right here. All right, so this is the sugar chart, and it's a 10-year chart. So the talking heads have been saying in the last 5 to 10 years, buy sugar. So 10 years ago, if you would have followed that, it would have been a top. And then about 5 years ago, it would have been another top. So they seem to be really good at picking tops for telling you to buy. This chart's silver. 10 years ago, it was all about buy silver, and it's done nothing but come down. And this is an 8-year chart, but pretty much 8 to 10 year chart. Then it's all done nothing but come down. This is gold, but it's a much longer term chart. This is what I found. And so you see that in the 70s here, gold shot up really fast, just as it did in 2000. That's a really, in the long-term scheme of things, a really fast bull market, although it did take 10 years to fill in. So gold usually goes up on fear. It goes up a lot on fear, and there's a lot of fear right now. So it's going up. But as you can see, we are nearing the tops of gold. So again, if you were buying when the talking heads were telling you to buy, then you still would have bought at the top and then suffered this drop down here, even though it is starting to go back up. Will it go higher? It can. It can. But again, this is just a scenario that plays out when you see the talking heads and you see everybody doing it. Now here's a rice. This is rice. This is a 10-year rice chart. And 10 years ago, when the talking heads were saying buy rice, that was the top. And then it came down, and then now it's 10 years later, it would have taken 10 years just to break even on rice. So so that's just something to consider. So we live in the information age, and we have information overload, and that's part of the challenge nowadays, is there's so many talking heads and people talking about, screaming from the rooftops, do this before this, buy it now, it's going to this price, it's going to that price. Okay, So I'm just saying that this has happened before, and I know a lot of people on YouTube like to make videos, and they like to get views, and they like to make people feel good about what's going to happen. And the reality is that nobody has a crystal ball. Markets can go up and markets can come down. Nobody really knows what's going to really happen, except for there is a fundamental story that you should pay attention to. And so the question is, what is the fundamental story? You notice that the mining companies have not, a lot of the junior mining companies that participated in the bull run from 2000 are not participating in this bull run. So that's a clue. So if you ask me, this looks like a fear-based run in gold. So will it continue? It could. How far will it go? It could go wherever it wants. That's what markets do. But I'll be the last guy to say gold's going to 20,000 right now, or even 5,000, or it's going to the moon.
What's gold and silver's place in our lives as events are unfolding and playing out during these perilous times? Well, I don't think it's necessary for me to point out that gold and silver have been around for thousands of years. Now, there are times when gold and silver are stable, like pre-1970s USA. Gold and silver were pretty stable. A gold coin was what, $20, $30, something like that, and fluctuated. It was $20 for years, decades. That's what the U.S. Constitution called for. $20 was going to be a gold coin. So. But then something changed, and it's always political, isn't it? So something changed, and the money supply went into a free fall. Now it's a stable free fall for now. So you've got to deal with inflation. And so one of the ways that people try to cement themselves is with gold and silver, and not fall prey. The gold and silver is a way of storage, storing. Let's say excess. You can store excess, which is normally understood as a savings account. I do warn you that gold had been made illegal in 1933 by the well-known FDR. If I got that wrong, do correct me in the comments. I've got a lot of things jammed into my head, and I don't always get the little facts exactly straight, but the basic point is correct. But the bottom line is, yeah, it could be made illegal, it could not be made illegal. But I don't think that's as high of a risk right now, but you just don't ever know. So back to its place, gold and silver's place, there's no shortage of people telling you now's the time, now's the time. But the bottom line is that you can clearly see that in the past, gold has done things like go from $250 to almost $2,000. So I mean, if you're listening to other people telling you, I mean, it depends on why you want to store gold and silver. And there's always this thing about long term. When people want to justify not paying any attention to what the price is, this quote unquote long-term discussion comes to the surface. And that's what the way that they describe making a decision. Well, it's a long-term investment. Over the long term, gold and silver are a good store of value. You can still buy with a gold coin a good suit as you could, blah blah blah. But in the meantime, if you do store all of your excess in gold and silver, then you're going to see huge fluctuations in the paper value of your wealth. You don't go to the grocery store and use gold coins to buy groceries, okay? So you're going to have to get these paper notes to do that. And if you don't pay attention to what prices are doing in the short term, then you're going to find that the amount of notes you get can go down to half or less than what you at the point in time that you put your money into storage. So yes, it does matter. Timing does matter. That's my point. I would say that there are times when you should that you would want to, and please don't, I always have to have a disclaimer, don't take any financial steps based on what I say. I'm not giving you financial advice, I'm just sharing my thoughts with you, and if you're on my channel, then you value my thoughts, and that's why I'm sharing. It's mutual, okay? You know, when prices are low, you might want to double up and go all in, but when prices are high, you know, it just depends on who you are. I mean, if you're really worried about hyperinflation, who's to say that maybe you shouldn't just slowly keep adding to your gold and silver holdings even now that prices are high. So it just depends on your situation, who you are, where you're at in life with your finances. And so to, you know, rely on videos like on YouTube that are telling you now's the time, it's going to be you know, multiples of where it is right now real soon. Is that really any different than that movie Boiler Room? If you haven't seen Boiler Room, go watch Boiler Room. If you're watching these videos, you know, about putting your money in gold and silver, there's nothing wrong with gold and silver. Gold and silver is real money. The Constitution actually says you're not supposed to be using anything but gold and silver. Did you know that? Oops! Uh-oh! That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a fact. Go read. You know? It's funny. I once quoted Henry David Thoreau to a neighbor, and he says to me, "Is he an Italian poet?" All right. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. If you have any more questions, please do so in the comments. I'll do the best I can to have a conversation with you in the comments. And
all right. So I hope that helps you in some way. And if there's anything else that comes to mind, if you have any questions, if you have some more input, put it in the comments and we'll have a short discussion in the comments. And have a wonderful day.